The topic of IQ tests came up recently. And for a long time, I've kind of felt like, the normal IQ test you'd find online is just not very useful. If anything, it's kind of disastrous. But I didn't remember why this was, so I decided I should check since I don't remember. So I went online, found an IQ test, and filled in all my answers, and got a 141. I was like, alright, that's not bad. Let's see what answers I got wrong. Didn't get any of them wrong. So then I thought, oh, I think I know what's going on here and why I don't like these tests, but let me double check, because double checking is important. So I did another version of the IQ test, and I just went through it really fast, and I got a 194. So supposedly that's much better. That means I'm smarter. I did a much smarter job on that one than when I scored a 144, 141, whatever. Problem is, I did something much more intelligent when I scored the lower score than when I got the higher score. Because when I got the higher score, I was just barfing out the answers as soon as I got them. I didn't even really need to completely understand it. It was just like, there's the question, I know the answer is that, blah! I don't know what just happened there, but moving on to the next question. Okay, I got the question, blah, there's the answer, blah, just barfing through the whole thing. Now what I did in with the lower score, where it took me longer, was I would get the questions, and I would think about the question, what it means, how it relates to my life, how it relates to the universe in general. I'd come up with the answer, then double check it with some other things, cross-reference it. This all happens, pretty quickly in my head, but still it takes noticeably longer than just barfing out the answer. And the advantage is that then I end up reinforcing a lot of information in my head, and I often find new connections that I didn't have before I figured out before I did the question. And let me give you an example of what I mean. Say the question is 4 times 6. This is a very simple question. Obviously, this wasn't on the IQ test. But just for clarity, I'm giving a super simple example. The question is 4 times 6. Now I remember that the answer is 24, so I can just blah 24, and I don't even really need to process any information. I could basically be an inanimate object, like a calculator. Get the question. 4 times 6, 24. Blah. But that doesn't make me any smarter. I don't learn anything. If anything, I become stupider because I'm just getting used to barfing out answers without thinking about them, which is a very bad thing. People do this a lot. They say things without thinking about it. Now what I normally do is I get the question, 4 times 6. First thing I do is, I remember the answer to that is 24, but let me double check, because there's a lot of reasons. I could be remembering wrong, I could have learned bad information at some point in time. There's a lot of reasons this could be wrong. So I'll draw a grid in my head. What does the question actually mean? 4 times 6 means, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 4 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and just whoosh, make a 4 by 6 rectangle. I mean, that's basically what the question means. 4 this way, 6 this way. Multiply those together, and you get a rectangle. And your answers, there should be 24 dots total, or monkeys, or bananas, or whatever you made. So I'll double and triple and quadruple check that. I'll say, okay. 6, 12, 18, 24. Okay, that matches up. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. Okay, yes, that matches up. And then I'll break it down, like all the way down to the most basic information, which will just be straight up counting it. 4 by 6. Let me count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now, I bet you thought when I said I'm going to count them, you were like, oh, that's going to be really tedious. That's going to take forever. But there, I just did it. It didn't take that long. And I got right down to the most basic information. I mean, I'm sure there's some kind of more basic information that's outside of my experience as a human. But just as a human being in the physical world here, that's the most basic information, just straight up counting it out. Now you might say, that's such a tedious thing to do. How can you do that? I mean, that's got to get so boring. The problem is, that's tedious if you are like a factory worker who just has to multiply numbers all day. Then you just want to spit out the answers. You don't want to think about it, so you can get them through, get them processed. But I am not a factory worker. I am not an inanimate object. I'm not a calculator. I'm a human being with creativity and imagination, and that is the strength of being a human. The strength of being a human is not to spit out the answer as quickly as possible. That is the strength of a machine. Machines are spectacularly amazing at that. But the strength of a human is that we can figure out how to make those machines. We can figure out all kinds of stuff, from like seemingly no crazy important information, just processing the information. And think about it. Einstein laid down on a field somewhere, staring at the stars, and he had enough quietness in his mind and curiosity and imagination to ask the question, why are those stars dots instead of lines? Why aren't I seeing the stars smeared across the sky? Why are they dots? And the answer to that question produced nuclear bombs and killed lots of people. But anyway, the thing is, we have this imagination, and we're taught for years and years in school not to use it. We're given sheets, just to go back to the mathematical example, we're given sheets of multiplication tables. You just have to go through, give the answers. Do it over and over and over and over until you can memorize the questions to the point that you can get the question and you can just spit out the answer like an idiot. And this is why this is my big problem with a lot of schools and the way our culture is right now and all this stuff. Because we're taught over and over to just spit out the answer, and if you don't just spit out the answer, you're fooling around. You get yelled at, and I got yelled at by teachers a lot when I was younger for doing this, for actually thinking. Don't question me, just do what you're told. How many of the world's problems have been created by don't question me, do what you're told? Like pretty much all of them. You can solve all the problems in the world by questioning everything and saying, wait, why is this happening? Why are we doing things this way? What is going on here? Is there a better way to do it? All these questions that people yell at you for doing. Oh, you're being antisocial by not just accepting the answer that everybody knows. And people get so upset. But we can solve so many problems just by thinking, and that's the strength of what a human being is. That's why we have these giant heads. It's not so we can have this, use this tiny part of our brain to just regurgitate information out, so we can process things and figure things out. Now, the 4 times 6 example is a very simple example, and I can give you just endless examples. And I'll tell you, when I talk to someone, it's like 40 things a minute I will question and just find huge holes in everything they're saying, which is why it's difficult for me to talk to people. I just kind of put myself on autopilot, and I'm like, all right, I'll just have this normal human conversation. But I have a task for everyone watching this video. From now on, or maybe not if you're in school because you might get in trouble or whatever, but make it a point to, at some point during your day, when you're having a conversation with someone, or you're watching TV, or somehow you're getting information from the outside world, make it a point to question everything. And this is something we are not supposed to do, socially speaking. But just do it and see what happens. Now, I have to give you a warning. Pretty quickly, if you start doing this and start getting used to doing it, you're just going to start thinking everyone around you is idiots because they're spouting all this garbage that they've never double-checked as all this bad information. Like, what if you'd never taken the time to count out 24, to figure out what 24 actually is? Then someone could tell you 4 times 6 is 25. And you could just believe it. Oh, okay, 4 times 6 is 25, fine. But what if you double check that, but instead of telling you it's 25, they told you 4 times 6 is 28. And counting by 6 goes like this: 7, 14, 21, 28. And you just believed that without actually counting it out. Then you could actually double check your answer and still get the wrong answer because you haven't triple, quadruple, done many checks. And that's how a lot of bad information works today. they'll give you the wrong answer, and then they'll give you supporting information that is incorrect by saying things like, all right, counting by sixes goes like this: 7, 14, 21, 28. Now you know that counting by 6 does not go 7, 14. It goes 6, 12, because it's a very simple example, and you have counted to 24. You've counted more, but there is a lot of information where you have not taken the time to look at the most basic pieces of information going into whatever you're being told. So I challenge you, next time you get a piece of information, or at some time when it's convenient, when you can do it, whatever, when it's socially acceptable, or actually I would say when it's not socially acceptable, but I don't want to get everyone in trouble. But next time you're getting some information, check it 6 times, 6 different ways. So they say 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, I remember that it was 24 from class. Now, counting by 4 is 6 times. Yeah, that comes out to 24. That's another check. Wait, that's another check. Then another check is counting by 6s this way. And just keep finding ways to check the information. And if you can get through 6 checks, and it might be difficult to actually figure out how to check something that many different ways, but that's where your brain, your huge brain comes in. You can figure out incredible ways to find information, to double check it, to check if it's crap, to check if it's good. And I mean, you'll just be amazed at what your brain can do if you let it. And you're gonna have to put aside a whole bunch of years of training, all through school and high school and university, all that. You have to put all that crap aside where they told you just do what you're told. No, you have to put all that aside and just think, check, question it over and over, check a whole bunch of times. And that is what will save the world. You know, people talk about a lot of different ways the world is going to be saved. Aliens will come and get us. We'll find some way of making an infinite power source or whatever. No, it's going to be when people start questioning everything and actually thinking, is this good or is this not good, and why are we doing this? So that's basically called turning up your BS detector all the way. Wait, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, right. That's why I think IQ tests are a pile of garbage. I'm sure there's some IQ tests out there that are better. The standard one where you get the sheet and your answers and you have to... Total crap. And I know, I'm about to get the question 40 times. Hey Jaimie, if you're so smart, why are you sitting there playing with concrete up to your elbows in mud and stuff? Why aren't you working at NASA or in some lab somewhere or making billions of dollars and... Well, here's a question back for you. If I'm so smart and you're so not smart, what makes you think that your idea of what I should be doing is better than my idea of what I should be doing? But the answer is because I want to create a place where people can be intelligent and not have their creativity squashed. Then I can build rocket ships.